like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Some monsters weren't supposed to scare anyone. Some were too ridiculous, too weird, too over the top to ever work on screen. Yet somehow they did. They terrified audiences, defined generations, and changed horror forever. From a dream demon with a Christmas sweater, to a doll possessed by a serial killer, to a man in a hockey mask that wasn't even planned to be the killer, these are the horror movie monsters who shouldn't have worked but did.
Like this, subscribe, like this video.
Number 1. Freddy Krueger.
Please, God.
This is God.
When Wes Craven first created Freddy Krueger, studios thought it was ridiculous. A killer who attacks you in your dreams? Too abstract, too strange. But Craven wasn't making just another slasher. He was making a nightmare made flesh. Freddy was burned, vengeful, and supernatural. And when Robert Englund stepped into that burned skin, with that sinister humor, something clicked. He wasn't silent like Michael or Jason. He talked, he toyed, he taunted. That was the risk. Slashers weren't supposed to have personality, but Freddy's blend of fear and charisma turned him into an icon. The glove, the laugh, the flutter, all campy on paper, but on screen, pure nightmare fuel. By the mid-80s, Freddy Krueger was bigger than horror itself, appearing in talk shows, toys, and even music videos. A killer who wasn't supposed to work became a pop culture phenomenon. Number 2. Jason Voorhees. Here's the irony in the original Friday the 13th. Jason wasn't even the killer, it was his mother. Jason was just a memory, a drowned boy. But when the sequel came, and that grown-up corpse crawled out of Crystal Lake, horror changed. Jason shouldn't have worked. He didn't talk. He didn't run. He was just a hulking man with a bag on his head. Until part 3 gave him the hockey mask. That mask became legend. It was an accident. A prop the crew used because it looked cool on camera. Yet it turned into one of the most recognizable images in cinema history. Jason was a blank slate. He represented pure inevitability. Death itself. No personality, no logic, no emotion. Just the unstoppable force. And sometimes, that simplicity is what horror needs most. Number 3. Chucky. A killer doll that was supposed to be child's play downfall. Before release, critics laughed at the concept. Even MGM tried to kill the project early, fearing audiences would think it was too silly. But then Brad Dourif's voice hit that first line.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
And everything changed. What made Chucky work wasn't realism, it was personality. He was a serial killer trapped in the child's toy body, equal parts terrifying and darkly comedic. And that humor kept him alive for decades. Most slashers burn out after 3 or 4 movies, but Chucky evolved from horror to horror comedy to even TV without ever losing that spark. He wasn't supposed to be scary. He wasn't supposed to work, but that's exactly why he became unforgettable. Number 4. The Babadook. Now let's shift from slasher icons to psychological terror. When Jennifer Kent made the Babadook, the monster wasn't even the point. It was a metaphor. Grief, depression, motherhood. But that pop-up book demon, tall hat, shadow face, fingers like knives, was never supposed to be marketable. No big studio thought an art house film about mourning would resonate. Yet audiences connected because the Babadook wasn't about killing. It was about feeling. The monster represented the pain we suppress, the ugliness we try to hide. From niche festival film to internet legend, another monster that shouldn't have worked but became a classic. Number 5. Pennywise. Stephen King's It was called unfilmable for years. A cosmic interdimensional clown that feeds on fear. Too strange, too big. The 1990s miniseries made an effort, but it was Tim Curry's charisma that carried it.
I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true.
Then 27 years later, just like the story cycle, Bill Skarsgård put on the makeup. And it worked. Against all odds, Pennywise became horrifying again. Those crossed eyes, that twitching lip, that childlike voice turning into a growl. It all shouldn't have worked, but it did because of commitment. The direction treated it seriously, and the performances grounded it emotionally. What was once a killer clown became a symbol of childhood trauma and fear itself. And suddenly, Pennywise wasn't a meme, he was a myth. Number 6. The Xenomorph. When Ridley Scott made Alien, no one expected the creature to become the face of horror. It was a sci-fi movie, not a slasher. But when Swiss surrealist H.R. Giger designed the Xenomorph, all biomechanical and sexualized horror, everything changed. The monster's design broke every rule. It wasn't undead. It wasn't demonic. It wasn't human. It was something we'd never seen before. Sleek, silent, and perfect. On paper, it sounded ridiculous. An alien that bursts out of your chest and bleeds acid? That's too weird. But Giger's design and Scott's slow burn tension made it believable. Terrifyingly so. By treating the absurd with reverence, Alien became the blueprint for cosmic horror in cinema. The Xenomorph shouldn't have worked, but it worked too well. Number 7. The Blair Witch. In 1999, the Blair Witch Project broke all rules. No score, no famous actors, no monster, no budget. Found footage horror was considered a gimmick until this movie came along. The Blair Witch herself, you never even see. The fear came from what you imagined. The shaky camera, the breathing, the screams in the dark, your brain filled in the blanks. And that was genius. By giving the audience nothing, the movie gave them everything. It became one of the most profitable films ever made. Inspired Paranormal Activity, Cloverfield, and a whole subgenre of low-budget terror. A monster that didn't exist became one of the most legendary in horror. What do all these monsters have in common? They broke the rules. They were too strange, too risky, too unbelievable. And yet, they worked because filmmakers believed in them.
Come to Freddy.
And that's what makes horror so timeless. It's not about what should work, it's about what shouldn't, but somehow does. So the next time someone says your idea is too weird to work, remember these monsters, because horror thrives where logic dies. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank y'all for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below what your favorite horror movie monster is. Follow me on Instagram, X, and TikTok at the Beaver X, and I'll see you in the next one.